Good morning, students. We'll continue with the chapter 9 physical economics. In that next topic is that public debt. Public debt in the sense the borrowing of a government from the individual or from the financial institution internally, externally. Why they borrow the amount means they wanted to give a facility, necessary facility, minimum necessary for life, for facility, welfare to his citizens. That's why they'll borrow the fund from the internally and externally. So this can be defined as it is a promissory. It is in the form of promissory notes. That means along with the initial amount, they have to pay the interest. Along with the initial amount, they have to pay the interest. So it can be of internal public debt and external public debt. The types of public debt can be. Internal public debt means inside the country, within the country, they borrow the fund, or to involve transfer of wealth. That means individual who purchase the government bonds and securities, or a bank or a private bank or a public bank borrow from the bonds from the government, or non-financial institution like the UTI, LIC, GIC also buy the government bonds, and also a central bank. So central bank, in the sense in India it is called as a Reserve Bank of India. They also can lend to the government, or a government can borrow a fund from the central bank, a debt from the central bank. So externally, in the sense outside the country from a World Bank or IMF, International Monetary Fund, or IDA in the sense International Development Association. ADA means Asian Development Bank. From them we are borrowing the loans. Next, so far what is a public debt and what are its types. Now we'll see the causes for increasing public. Yearly it's keep on increasing. Debt is keep on increasing. What is the causes? Why it is increasing? Means the first one is a war and preparation of war. Each country, they wanted to protect its country, so they wanted to have a good defense force, or they wanted to modernize their defense. So to modernize their defense, they have to buy the nuclear weapons. To buy that nuclear weapons, they have to spend the expense. They have to have a fund. So for that also the government can borrow from the internally and externally. Next is social obligation. So social obligation in the sense means the government has to see the welfare of its citizens. Basic needs government has to fulfill to its citizens. That means like a public health, sanitation facility, education, insurance, transportation facility, communication facility, they have to fulfill. And next is economic development and deficit. In the sense the country has to think that they have to modernize its country. How it can modernize its country? In construction of railways, new projects, irrigation projects should be there, heavy industry should be launched or formed. So to do all this, a heavy investment is needed. So for that also the government can borrow the loans. Next is the employment. You know already we studied the trade cycle. In the trade cycle, depression is very worse. In that cycle only unemployment will be there. So if it's the unemployment is there, means they have to create employment opportunity. To create employment opportunity means they have to create a firm or industry, launch the industry. So to do that one, the government spends more of the money. Next is controlling inflation. See, these are the countries, those who borrow the fund from or borrow the loan from external, from the, as I said, IMF, as a World Bank, no? So you can see USA to India, you can see. Next is controlling inflation. Controlling inflation means government can withdraw excess of money circulation in the market. So how it can control means by raising the public debt. Why you wanted to raise the public debt means if its circulation of money is more means all the product price will be keep on raising. To control that one, they can adopt this method. Next, fighting of depression. As I said, fighting of depression means there will be unemployment in the country. So the government applies a compensatory public spending. That means equalizes public spending by borrowing from the internal and external sources. Next method is a method of redemption of public debt. So far we studied causes, why it is there increasing. Now means how to repay, that is a redemption. எப்படி நம்ம திருப்பி கொடுக்கலாம் loan அப்படின்றது we will see. So next method of redemption is method. First one is a sinking fund. Sinking fund in the sense usually in our family will have some amount will be there that will keep in the bank. After 1 year or 2 years will put keep as in the fixed deposit. After 1 year 2 years along with the initial amount interest will come. In the same way the government will also have some fund or amount will keep in the fixed deposit like that. After maturity of 1 year or 2 year, both the amount they will take and that amount will be used for the repayment of loans. Next, conversation. Conversation in the sense means to repay the old loan will borrow the new loan. Maybe old loan may be higher interest, new loan may be a lower interest. So that means relaxation can be given for the overburden. Relaxation will be given for the public debt. So this can be adopted by the government. Next is a budgetary surplus. This is not possible, but it's a very rare case. Means the government income is more, expenditure is less. That means a surplus budget. It's usually it won't happen, but rare if it's happened means that excess, the surplus amount whatever you are getting, that amount is government will use it for the repayment of debt. Next, terminal annuity. That means yearly annuity in the sense yearly. Monthly will keep on repay the installment. We pay the loan, no? Monthly installment. In the same way, annually government can be pay the debt. Next is reputation. Reputation in the sense, instead of repaying monthly, we have to get rid of the burden of payment. That means destroy the debt. Instead of paying, overall we have to repay fully and destroy the debt. That is called as a reputation. Next is a reduction in the rate of interest. That means if I am borrowing 10,000 rupees, means next month if I am paying, means how I have to pay 1,000 rupees plus 100 rupees. 1,000 rupees is a installment I am paying, 100 rupees is interest. So and the next second month how I have to pay 1,000 rupees. That means already 10,000 is there. In 10,000 last month 1,000 rupees I paid. Now how much the amount is your loan amount will be there, 9,000 only will be there. So next month I have to pay 1,000 rupees plus I should not pay 100 rupees as an interest. My interest also should reduce. That what's the meaning is. So reduction of the interest. Next month I am paying means for 9,000 only the interest should be there, not for the 10,000. That's what the rate of interest. Reduction in the rate of interest. Next is a capital levy. Capital levy means government impose a levy, the forcibly put the tax on the capital assets owned by the individual or any financial institution. They'll collect a minimum amount only in a progressive scale. That is, slowly they will collect the fund. This can be adopted in the war time only. They will collect this method. So these are all about the public debt.